The last thing we're going to do here is we're just going to look at line quality, right? So again, if I use my ellipse tool here, I'm going to draw a circle. So I'm going to hold down the shift key, and I'm going to make a perfect circle like this. So right now I have this shape stroked with black. I'm sorry, filled with black and stroked with nothing. I'm going to reverse these two, right? So if I click the swap button here, there we go. So now all of a sudden I have a line running around the outside of my shape here. A stroke, we call that. I can click on that shape, again, select it, and I can increase the weight of this line. Right, and it's a standard sort of uniform line that runs around the circle here. If you see here to the right, I can click on this drop-down menu, and I can actually change the properties of that line. So it looks more like a graphic line or like a drawn line with an ink pen, which is kind of cool. Right, it looks pretty cool, just like that. There's kind of a classic like so. You can also select here where it says basic. These are different types of lines you can add. So I can turn this into like a drawn line, right? So something like that, right? And we'll learn a little bit more about textures and things, but there's a few you can look for. Under this drop down here, there is some libraries. So I can look at brush library here, and we can look at, I don't know, artistic, calligraphic, ink, paintbrush, watercolor, chalk. Let's look at calligraphic lines maybe. And then these are different types of marks that make different types of lines, right? Like a calligraphic line like that. Right, or I could, again, go back here. I could go back to my libraries, and I could say brush library, artistic. Let's look at paintbrush. Those are always kind of fun. So under paintbrush, I can use all sorts of different lines here. So again, it looks more natural. It looks like a more interesting sort of dashed line here, right? Which is kind of cool, as opposed to just that really square line. And you might want something that looks very formal, but this just looks, to me, it looks sort of, sometimes it gives it more life, you know, because Illustrator can be sort of stale. So there you go. So one other thing you can do with this line if you want to is right now it's just an outline, so there's really not a lot you can do with it to edit it. But you can also then select the shape here, the stroke on the outside. I can go to Object. I can go to Path, and I can say Outline the stroke. And what that's going to do is it's no longer going to be an outline around the circle, but it actually created anchor points, right? So now, and this is sort of like beyond belief here, all these anchor points, but it, you know, you could edit your line if you wanted to, or maybe more realistically, what you might do is after you create a shape like this is now you could use the eraser tool, because otherwise the eraser tool would not work on it. I could use the eraser tool and I can get rid of some of this, right? And it just makes it more manageable like that, like so. And then if I am still seeing some stuff down here, I'm just going to select this and I'm going to hit delete, delete. I'm just highlighting that stuff with my direct selection tool, and I'm cleaning that up just like so. So there you go. So that is, you know, a quick adjustment to how to make this line a little bit more dynamic.